concept today, that is local resources. Fine. So before that, like I'll tell you about Terraform lifecycle. You know about lifecycle? Have you ever heard about Terraform lifecycle? So generally, hi Kiran, it's been a long time. Rakesh, you got the code. Can you please tell me? 587893. Yeah. So, sir, generally, whenever we create infrastructure on Terraform, if I give destroy command, automatically it is going to delete the resource or not, sir? What I can do is, unfortunately, if I run destroy, unfortunately, some instance got deleted. What we are going to do in general? A resource without deleting. For example, whenever I give Terraform destroy command, my server will never be deleted. That kind of settings I can do in Terraform. There is a concept called lifecycle concept. Which concept? In Terraform lifecycle, we can achieve this feature. That means even though if you want to delete the server, you cannot delete. Why? Because we are enabling the lifecycle there. I'll show you like how it is going to work for you. Where is our server actually? In which region we created? Main server is on Mumbai region. Huh? Let me write a EC2 instance code here. I already have the server. Like no need to write it one more time. So give vim main.t. Oh, sorry. cd terraform. Then go for main.tf. Sir, for example, this is the instance type, sir. It is the instance type. Already I have the variable on some variable file. Or let me remove this one. rm minus rf. I am removing the variable.tf. What I am removing? vim main.tf. Go here and just give here instance type is equal t2 micro. What I am giving? And upon there, here I don't want instance count. Remove this one. So I just give tags here. What I'm gonna give? Tags means we can give name. It is also optional. Name is equal to Raham. Sir, I never want to delete this server. So in that case, I can put life cycle. What I can put? In life cycle, I can describe like this. Prevent to destroy. Prevent is equal to true. That means even though if you try to remove this server, it will never delete. Sir. I'll show it. First command is Terraform. Init command. Tail not. Life cycle. Terraform, then next apply. Directly I can give apply. Apply means what is going to do? Creating the, sir, if I give destroy, the server need to be deleted, right? It will not delete now. Why? Because in lifecycle rule, I given prevent to destroy. What I have given? Prevent to destroy is equal to true. That means it is going to the server is it done, sir? Now, if I try to give Terraform destroy, in general, what will happen? In general, it will delete the server, right? But it will not delete now. See. What is telling? Instance cannot be destroyed. Resource AWS instance has lifecycle prevent destroy set. You cannot able to destroy. If I want to destroy now, what I can do is go here in main.tf. Instead of true, make it as false. So what I'm making it as false. Now if I run Terraform destroy, it is going to delete, sir. Yeah, please. Is it destroying or not, sir? No. Deleting. So this is what you can call as Terraform lifecycle concept. Which concept it is? Lifecycle. True and false. And apply and destroy are common. Okay, I'm not writing the commands apply and destroy. Why? Because after writing the code, what to do. So is prevent destroy clear for all of you? And there is called one more concept called ignore changes. I'm not going to tell it practically. Why? Because it is not on your syllabus. But for your clarity, I'll give you. Ignore changes means it will not replicate the changes we done to server. That means I have one server. If I do a small change to my server, for example, I change the name, it won't care, sir. It will ignore it. Prevent destroy means it is not going to change the. First of all, I highlight it. Prevent destroy. Prevent destroy means it will not delete the resource. It will not delete the. So prevent destroy means it will not going to delete the resource, sir. But ignore changes means it will not replicate the changes we done to our server. Is it clear now? So these both are what you can call as lifecycle meta arguments. And there is one more thing. These also I'll tell you, not on syllabus, but I'll tell you for you. Ignore changes done, prevent destroy done. Like the concept is like I'll tell you it. Prevent destroy, ignore changes, and the last one is. Let me carry this one. Prevent destroy, true, false done, ignore changes, and depends on. Depends on means, for example, I'll tell you. It will depend on other resource to create. For example, I have one S3 bucket and one EC2 server. I will make a settings like if S3 bucket is created, then only EC2 will be created. That is what you can call as depends on. What we can call it as. All these I'm giving clarity. Basically, these are not a part of syllabus, but for your knowledge, I'm telling you. Depends on means when I have two resources, if first resource is created, then only I can be able to create the second resource. That is what you can call as depends on. So in Terraform, we have a concept called depends on. So is the Terraform lifecycle clear for all of you? Prevent, destroy, true and false, ignore changes, depends on. That's it. Okay, sir, fine then. Next year, I'm gonna teach you how to create local resources on Terraform. So till now in Terraform, we create cloud resources. What kind of resources? But we can also create local resources. For example, we can create a file. I'll show you. Just go to here and give main.tf. But before that, there is one more important concept, Terraform backend S3 setup. I'll ask you a question. Sir, whenever you create a resource in Terraform, your information is going to store on which file? State file. That means complete your information and resources tracking, everything is going to maintain by state file. That means it is important or not, sir? It is going to be very, very important. Fine then. Sir, unfortunately, I deleted the state file. What will happen for me? I cannot able to track the resource. For that purpose, what we can do is we can create the backup of state file in some remote location. Even though if you're local, if you lost the file, from remote location, we can take the file, sir. How it is going to work means like I'll show it to you here. You just go and see this one. Now. Let me open the paint. For example, let's consider this is my state file. It is my which file? State file will be on my computer only, generally, or my server. For example, something happened to my server or something happened to my computer. Data is going to be completely lost, correct or not, sir? In that case, what I can do is I can create a S3 bucket. What I can create here? In this S3 bucket, I can directly able to store this state file, sir. That means even though if I lost my state file on local, can I take it from remote location? That is what you can call as remote backend setup. What we can call it as? The concept is very easy. First of all, what you are going to do is create a S3 bucket. So go to here and try to create an S3 bucket. And then we have a code. Already we have code on Terraform official documentation. Copy paste the code from there to. Fine. Why is internet is slow, man? In the meanwhile, I'll come S3 backend. Bad internet. Are you seeing the code, sir? Directly you can get the code. First of all, copy this code. Go here and type main.tf. So go here and what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this code. Already I copied the code now. So I have the code here. Copy this code and directly paste it on the terminal. I don't want lifecycle now. Why? Because I'm removing this one. So here, first of all, create a bucket. The bucket I'm going to create is Raham Sheikh Terra prod bucket 0088. The bucket name. So you can give any name as per your requirement. Key means on which file you want to store your information. I want to store which file, sir? State file. So create a folder called prod folder. It is a folder. Inside that I'm going to store the Terraform.tf state. And this bucket I'm creating it on US East 1. That's it. I'm writing a Terraform block. Why I'm writing for my backend. Here, why I'm creating the backend means to store my state file. Why to store the state file on backend? If we lost the state file, we can able to retrieve from there. Here for backend purpose, I'm using S3. It is the name of the bucket. It is the key. That means in the production folder, you can create the file region. That means you are going to create the bucket on which region here. Now go here and try to create a S3 bucket. Already I have a lot of buckets here, but I'll create a new bucket. It is the name of the bucket US East 1, or like don't give US East 1. Just put our current region AP Southeast 1. Better. AP Southeast 1 is which region it is? AP Southeast 1. AP South means Mumbai. AP Southeast means it is already we created the region. If you go and see Tokyo, AP Northeast means Tokyo. Basically, AP Southeast. That means it is Singapore. Okay, like that. Why? Because your main server is on that region only, right? Where is your Terraform main server? Terraform server is in Mumbai region. Of course, you can give Mumbai or you can give whatever you want. That doesn't matter here. Whatever you have given. Or let me go for here and just type Mumbai. Mumbai means AP South 1. Just remove this East. Now give the command Terraform init. But before that, create the bucket. AP South 1. And we need to enable the version. Why? Because to retrieve the object. Sir, here don't give Terraform apply directly. Why? Because whenever you add a new block on Terraform, we need to give Terraform init. Without giving Terraform init, your new block will not be executed. Now Terraform plan and apply also directly you can give. Automatically what happen, whatever the resource you are going to create, 1 second, AMID does not exist. I changed the region, right? So let me change the AMI also. So AP South 1, take this AMI. Why? Because 4:30 p.m. is also having the same concept actually. So I created both servers, one on California and one on here. I think I'm using some other server file. So now what is going to happen, what are the resource I'm going to create? That resource information, that means state file, is going to store on my server as well as in S3 local as well. Just to go to here S3 server, like S3 bucket. So in my S3 bucket, so it is the name of the bucket. Click here. You'll see the production folder now. Seeing production folder? Go here. Are you seeing the Terraform TF state file? Just now created it is. Copy this one. Click on download. What I am doing here, click on. Now automatically whatever the information you are seeing on your state file, same information you can see on this file. Let me open this file. Same information you can see, sir. Seeing this one? Sir, this as-is information is going to be on your state file again. So that means even though if I delete my state file on my server, am I going to have backup or not, sir? So it is very, very important concept. In real time, without using the Terraform backend setup, you cannot create the infrastructure. First of all, why we need to have the backend setup for Terraform? I just said now why we need to have the backup, sir? For our safety purpose. You delete here, you can be able to retrieve from the S3 bucket, correct or not? That's it. This is the Terraform remote backend. So cat main.tf. One second. In last one, AP South. Terraform S3 backend setup clear for all of you know. But let me give the content for it. Already I wrote the content here. So so here I have the content already. So I'm giving the same content for you. Like instead of writing the one like content from the scratch again, I already have it now. I'm sharing it here for you. That's it. So then next fine here bucket we need to create manually, guys. Remember this point, okay? So by default you don't have any bucket, so I need to use this bucket manually. And there are some other important points we need to understand. So these are the important points. I given it as node point. What is a node point? You know, here create bucket manually. So now if we go and see now, sir, what is the node point here? While using new provider block, not only provider block, while using new block in Terraform, always we need to run Terraform. Already, otherwise plugins will not be. Have I said this point or not, sir? So I wrote it here. For example, whenever you remove the Terraform backend code, we need to give the command Terraform init migrate state. See, till now, I'm destroying the instance now. Sir, till now, this Terraform is connecting my state information to remote bucket or not, sir? For example, if I remove the Terraform code, from my main.tf, that connection also I need to remove or not, sir? I removed the code only, but connection also I need to remove or not, sir? For that purpose, we need to run the command Terraform init migrate state. What I need to run? Terraform init migrate. Otherwise, connection will stay like that. Your outputs are not going to execute properly. Why? Because you made the connection between your bucket and state file. Whenever you made the connection, directly if you remove the code without removing the connection, it won't happen. So I'll show it lively for you. Here, vim main.tf, and I am removing this one. Oh, sorry. Is the code gone here? Sir, I removed the code here, but I haven't removed the connection. So then what I'll do is, if I give Terraform apply or even the Terraform destroy, what is happening here? Backend initialization required. Please run Terraform init. Reason why means unsetting the previous set backend S3. You already set the backend connection S3 or not, sir? You set it, you remove the code without disconnecting. How I can work now? So then run the command Terraform init migrate state. It's done now. Then try to give Terraform apply now. Is it working or not, sir? This is how we need to attach to the backend S3 and detach to the backend S3. You got the point, right? Why we are using backend setup for S3? Why we are using backend setup for S3? To keep the stateful and remote location. If we don't keep the stateful and remote location, what will happen? We lose it. If you lose the stateful, what will happen again? We'll not able to track the resource, which is going to create a mess up for us. So next command I'm going to tell you is Terraform refresh command. Which command? Currently, Terraform state list. How many resources are there, sir, here? How many resources are there? One. I'll go here and I'll remove the server manually. This server I created, right? How I removed the server? Manually, correct or not, sir? Just wait until it is removed. Sir, whenever I remove the server manually, state file is also going to remove the content or not, sir? Why? Because it is not existent now. If the resource is running, my state file will store the content. If it is not running, can my statefile store the content now? No. So now completely it is on terminated state. Which state? Go here and give the command Terraform state list. Still are you seeing it or not, sir? In cat Terraform TF state. Still here also you are seeing it or not, sir? Then you can use the command Terraform refresh. Which command? Terraform refresh is a command which is used to refresh the state file. It is refreshed, right? Now if I give Terraform state list, it won't show me. Showing now? There is a background work for it. I'll explain behind the scenes what will happen. It is my server. I create with the help of Terraform. That means information is going to store on state file. Which file? Whenever I delete the server, state file is not going to remove this one directly. It will keep storing like that only. Completely, if it is terminated, then information in the state file is going to remove slowly. But it won't replicate. It will show there is content. But if I give refresh command, the state file is going to be completely refreshed. State file is going to be completely, then it will execute, sir. Simply whenever you install some application, your installation is done. But if you want to use the application, you have to refresh your mobile or not, sir. Here also, whenever you remove a resource manually, if it want to replicate to the Terraform state file, we need to use Terraform refresh command. What will refresh command will do in general? It will go and check whether the resource is there or not. First of all, this is my Terraform's TF state. I'm using refresh command. Which command? Whenever I said refresh, Terraform state file is going to check that server is there or not. The server is not there. It is going to tell me there is no server. That means automatically Terraform TF state file is going to remove the content. Correct or not, sir? So this is what you can call as Terraform refresh. Why we are using this? To refresh the state file. So I'm writing this one. Terraform import already we have seen, right? Terraform refresh. I'm writing. Anyone call me? If it exists, it will show. Otherwise, it will not show. So this is what you can call as Terraform refresh. Terraform lifecycle we have seen. S3 backend setup we have seen. Refresh also we have seen. So any doubts on these three concepts for all of you? No. All and what about you? Are these three concepts clear for all of you? Can you please confirm in chat once? Okay, so clear for everyone. Fine. So then here I'm gonna show you how to create the Terraform local resources. What I'm gonna show you, Terraform. Sir, for example, let's consider till now with the help of Terraform, we created cloud resource, AWS resource only. But for example, if you want to create local resource, I'll tell you how to create. Go to main.tf, delete all the code. Just write here resource. I want to create local file. I want to create. What I want to create? Label name 1. So file name. What is the file name? I'm giving it as abc.txt. Next here, I want to put some content also. Content what I want to put? Hi all. This file is created from Terraform. That's it, sir. So now here I am going to create a resource. That is which resource? AWS or local resource? With label name 1. What is the name of the file? Whatever you want, you can give the content, sir. Simply what I'll do is I'll execute this one. First of all, right here, have a write the new resource or not, sir? Local resource. Till now we create AWS resource. How we create means we have AWS provider plugins. Then only we can be able to create the AWS resource. But now I want to create local resource. If I want to create local resource, which plugin I need to have? Local plugin. Which plugin it is? So if I want to download plugin, which command will download plugin for me? Terraform. It will download the local plugins now. Are you seeing local plugins here? Previously there is no local plugins, but now plugins have been downloaded. Why? Because I include this on main.tf. Just to give Terraform apply command now. Within 1 second, you can create the file. Seeing the file here? Within 1 second, done or not, sir? Just to give LL. Are you seeing abc.txt? Cat abc.txt. Same content or not? In this way, you can also create local resources. What we can create, sir? But remember, whenever you write a new block, we need to download the plugins for that provider. Otherwise, your resources are not going to execute. Is it clear now? So this is the way how we can create the local resources. Okay, sir, fine then. In Terraform, we have a concept called version constraint. Currently, what is the AWS provider version? And local provider version? I want to update the provider version. Why? Because in general, we used to update our tools or not, sir? So like this also, we need to update the provider plugins. How to update the provider plugin means there is a code. No need to remember the code. Directly in official documentation, they will give us the code. Go to here and type Terraform AWS provider. What I am typing? Seeing AWS provider here. Go here. And here, what is the latest version? 5.23. Even I have the latest version only. 5.23 only I have, or not, sorry, 5.22 I have. What I have? I want to update. So click on this one. Are you seeing the content here? Copy this content. I'll do nothing here. Just to go and type Terraform init command. Which command? Why? Because again, new provider plugins will need to download. So just to give -upgrade. Why? Because I'm updating the provider plugins or not, sir? So definitely need to run -upgrade. Previously 5.22 is there, but now currently we are seeing 5. This is the way how we can use the provider plugins, sir. My question to you is, why to update provider plugins? Any reason for it? Yes, for example, AWS introduced a new feature, sir. If new feature need to work on our Terraform means we need to update the new provider plugins. Why? Because if there is provider plugin only, then only we can create resource. If AWS is giving new feature for you, that new feature plugin into download, correct or not? For that purpose, we need to keep updating this one. Without updating the provider plugins, we cannot create the new resources. So if you want to update the provider plugin, directly go to AWS Terraform provider, copy the code and give the version whatever you want. Clear now? And you can also perform some mathematical operations like this. If you don't want exact 5.23, what you can do is you can give less than 5.23. Less than 5.23 means you can get the lower version of 5.23. 5.22 is coming. 5.22 is less than 5. 5.23 or not, sir? Try it one more time. So this time I want less than 5.22. I'll get 5.21. 5.21 will be less than 5.22 or not, sir? You can put greater than, you can put less than, you can put greater than or equal to also, you can give it. But in real time, we don't give greater than, less than, exact provider plugin version. So this is the way how you can update the provider versions of Terraform plugins. I'll write the content here. Version constraints. It is easy to change the provider version plugins. Can be applicable for all providers. Sir, for example, I don't want to change AWS provider plugin. I want to change local provider plugin this time. What I'll do, I'll just go here. Instead of AWS, put local here. Which one I want to change now? Currently, local provider version is 2.44. Type here local. This internet, man. I'm just giving 4.2.2. Sorry, 2.2.2. Basically, if you go and see here, we have 2.4 version, but I'm giving less than 2.2.2. Just give Terraform unit upgrade now. You will get the version less than 2.2.2, sir. You will get 2.1.0. Less than 2.2.0 or not, sir? In that case, you can update any kind of provider plugins. You can use less than, you can use greater than, you can use less than or greater than. Depends upon your choice. Whatever you want, you can give it. Is the concept clear for all of you? Why we are updating the provider plugins? Why to update provider plugins? Simply to replicate the new features. If you don't update provider plugins, your new features will not be replicated. So next concept here I'm going to teach you is Terraform Dynamic Block. Dynamic Block is very lengthy. What exactly the meaning of Dynamic Block? I'll tell you the code where it is, and you can also play with this kind of things actually. Dynamic block is used to reduce the length of the code. If I have 100 lines of code, it is going to make the code 60 to 70 lines. In real time, whenever your code is lengthy, we can prefer dynamic block. Dynamic block main purpose is to reduce the length of and we can reuse the code. I'll explain the concept one by one. First of all, if you see here, you are using locals block. What you are using? What is the name of the locals block? Ingress rule means inbound rule, sir. Ingress rule means what? Port number 443 for security group. Description is optional. No need to write. Second port number is? Third port number is? What is the purpose of using local block? Yesterday we have seen. We can define the value once and we can use it for multiple times. Here also in ingress block, I am defining multiple values. Port number 443, port number 80, port number 808. So that means I can use these values wherever I want, sir. I can use these values wherever I want. Now it is the code for EC2 instance. No need to explain. But here I am attaching the security group for my EC2. How I am attaching? I don't have security group now. But whenever I execute AWS security group with the label name main, this will give an ID. Take that ID and attach directly. So first of all, these two blocks I am going to write it here. Why? Because this concept you need to understand block by block. Very lengthiest concept. So first here, local block as well as resource AWS block. Are these two blocks clear for all of you? Everyone. Now, Alan, what about you? Are these two blocks clear for all of you? Can you please confirm me once? What about remaining? Are these two blocks clear or not? Fine. So first of all, again, I am telling, sorry, local block is to define the value and use for multiple times. Here, how many values I am defining? Port number 443, 80. Description is optional for you. No need to write the description. You can ignore this one. Next here, I am writing the code for dynamic block. So here, resource. I am going to create the AWS security group. What I'm doing with the label name main. Egress means outbound rules. Sir, here outbound rules, I'm giving all traffic, sir. What I'm giving? Description, I'm giving nothing. From port 0. To port also 0. Here IPv6 CIDR block we can give, but I'm not giving IPv6. Why? Because I want IPv4 only. What I want? So this one I'm copying first. This is completely to provide the egress. Egress means what here? Outbound rules. And I'm giving all traffic anywhere. From port and to port 00. IPv6 blocks I'm not defining. I'm not defining IPv6. Why? Because I want IPv4 blocks only. Copy this code here now. Okay. Internet bad. So next here the main thing comes here. So this is the main block actually. Remember which block I'm using now? And I am taking the dynamic block from ingress rules actually. For each loop here, loops concept also going to cover. Of course, I'll explain the loops concept one more time. Don't worry. I'm using for each loop. For each loop means it is going to pick each and every value, sir. I'm using for each loop. Where I'm using for each loop? From local block. Do I have local block here? From local block, from ingress rules, I have three values. First value, second value, third value. For each loop is going to pick the first value 443. Second value it is going to pick 80. Third value it is going to pick 8080. So like this, for each loop, I am taking. Why? Because I need to get each and every value from the ingress block. So for each loop is taking value from local ingress rules actually. Content and description. What I'm going to do is, sir, from port, I am taking ingress value port. First value is here 443. To port also 443. Protocol TCP, CIDR anywhere. First value is done. What is your second value then? First value 443 is done, right? Now in second value, I'm going to take 80. Which value it is? Now from port, ingress value port is 80. To port also, protocol TCP, CIDR block 00. Third value is 80. Again, it is going to take the value from ingress block value port. Ingress block value port is already 443, 80 is done, right? Now it is 8080. Again, from port 8080 to port also 8080, protocol TCP, CADR block, anywhere. Instead of writing code for each and every security group, I am taking it as single for block, for each block. Which block? That means what is the purpose of having loops in general? Loop means to do the value repeatedly. Like I'll show one code for you. Now you'll get some clarity actually, like why I'm showing this concept means. For example, if you want to write code for single security group, AWS security Terraform code. Sir, if you go and see, ingress rules for TCP like 443, I need to write this much of content. Again for 80 also I need to write this much of content or not, sir? Again for 8080 also I need to write this much of content. But instead of writing that many blocks, I am taking one single block only. Already these values I have defined on my ingress. Locals ingress. From here I am picking the value. If I don't do this now, I need to write the blocks like this. I need to write the block like this. For 443, this much of code. Again for 80, this much of code. Again for 8080, again this much of code. That means I need to write multiple codes for it. Instead of writing multiple codes for different port numbers, I am calling the port numbers from local block ingress rules. First value 443 from port to port. Second value 80 from port to port. Third value 8080 from port. So like this, my code is going to run repeatedly until the blocks are completed. So now dynamic block is going to reduce the length of code or not, sir? I write the code only once, but I am using for multiple times or not. This is what dynamic block is going to teach us. Don't worry about this code. In interview, they are not going to ask you to write the code. They will ask you the concept. You know the dynamic block. What will you tell there? Yes, we need that. We know the dynamic block. On which purpose we are using the dynamic block? To reduce the length of the. Tell me any example. Security group. For each and every port, we need to write multiple lines of code. But ports I will define on ingress and I can call the values on dynamic block. Automatically it is reducing the length of the code or not, sir? And here for each also working. What is the work of for each here? What is the work of for each? It is going to pick the values from ingress rules. How many values I have? It is going to pick each and every value one by one. So this is the concept of dynamic block. I'll show you practically, but before that, let me change the AMI ID. Why? Because this is some other region AMI, but I am using the AMI from Mumbai. Na? So go here and try to take the AMI from Mumbai region. AMI ID not found. Wait. Man, this is very bad internet. AMI is correct AMI only, right? We have given. Yeah, actually, let me do one thing. I'll go to Mumbai and I'll pick one AMI from there. I'll take any AMI. First of all, security group is created. Then now it is going to attach to my EC2 server. Guys, don't worry about the code of dynamic block. It is the difficult concept of Terraform actually. Okay. Just understand the concept, why we are using. Okay. Don't worry about the code. Is it done now? Fine then. So what I'm going to do is, if I go to my EC2 instance now, click on refresh and try to search whether your server is running or not. Yes, my server is running. It is my server. Go for security here. There you can see 3 protocols. 8080, 80. Are you able to see it or not, sir? Sir, if I want to add a new security rule, na, what I'll do? Just I'll go here and type like this. For example, if I want to add the new port, na, just open the brace and close the brace. And here in the middle, put this content. Of course, I'll change the port number there. Instead of writing, I'm just doing copy paste here. And comma is important here. So the next port I want is like 5432. It is a port number for database actually. Here, I'm just giving port number or not, sir. Then if I give Terraform apply, that new port is going to automatically added. Is that new port added here? Just to go and check here. Just click on refresh. Click on reflexively. What is the new port that we have added that is going to replicate here? Wait, let me refresh here. So now go and click on this one. Security. Are you seeing the new port number here? 5432 now? Sir, instead of writing, basically, if I want to write the code for inbound rules, if I want to write the code for inbound rules, I need to write this much of code here actually in general. But instead of writing this much of code, I just give one simple block here. It is the code to write the ingress block, sir. How big the why loops? This is the reason why we are preferring the dynamic block concept. Which concept? Now is the dynamic block concept clear for all of you guys? Why we are using dynamic block and like any other stuff? So this code I'm gonna give it here. So online, is the dynamic block concept clear for all of you? Can you please confirm me on chat once? Fine. So any doubts still now? There is one more last concept I need to cover today. So if we cover that one now, so tomorrow we can directly see the project itself. So, but before that, any doubts or queries still now? No doubts, sir? Good guys you are. You will never ask doubts actually. Fine. So online also, yeah, everything is clear for online also. Fine. Then now I'll tell you some concept that is called as for each concept. Already we have seen just now. For example, sir, you want to create 3 servers. How many servers you want to create? For 3 servers, I need to give the 3 different names. In that case, don't create 3 servers. Just use for each loop. Which loop? I'll execute this code. You will get some clarity. Let me execute the code. So what do you know? Resource AWS instance AMI fine, instance T2 micro fine. Tag means it is going to pick each value. First value is, second value is, third value is database server. So now if I want to give the name, name I'm gonna take from each block here. What is the first value? For my first server, name is going to be web server. Second server, name is going to be, third server, name is going to be. That means generally, if you want to give different name like this, we need not to create 3 different servers. Write only one block, use loops concept, automatically it will give names for 3 different servers. Let's execute this one. I'm gonna change AMID here. Why? Because that I might use for some other region. This is my current AMI. Even either, it is taken hyphen. Right? Fine now. Now just take your Terraform apply command directly. It is going to create 3 servers and it is going to give name for 3 different servers. See here, how many servers are there? AMID not found. Hey, man, what it is doing? Okay, let me describe the region here. I'll give the region. Region is equal to AP South 1. Now, how many servers we are going to create, sir? And for 3 different servers. I given the correct email, right? It's making me so much of frustration. Go here and select this AMI. Same AMI. Now give apply. Is it creating the servers or not, sir? No? How many servers it is creating? 3 servers. For 3 servers, am I getting 3 different names or not, sir? So this is how we are going to create the servers with minimal code actually by using which loop here? For each loop. For each loop is going to pick the values one by one. Correct or not, sir? That's it. And still, which concepts we have to cover? Yeah, what happened? Terraform version done. I haven't saved the content, right? And to tell me, right? I saved this one, but okay, fine. Let me give it. So this Okay, fine. Till now it is saved here. Dynamic block is saved here. Okay, fine. I'll give this code. Now if you go see here, you can see different servers. Just let me filter the running servers only. Sir, are you seeing app server, web server, database server? How many blocks are right here? But how many servers I have created? A different configuration or not, sir? You can do like this. Simple code actually. Nothing to worry about this one. Definitely you can give. If you want me to show, I'll show. For example, you have given the different names, but same It's taking so much of time actually. See, server also got disconnected. Let me destroy them first. VPC nodes is Blanca. Where it is? I'll check it, don't worry. Okay. So here with this code, you can do it. Basically, previously what I have done is, let me give this one. Sir, initially, with the help of for each loop, what you have done is, you have given 3 different names for 3 different servers. But this time, web server need T2 micro, app server need T2 medium, database server need T2 large. Different servers with different configuration. Again, that also we can able to do it, sir. How we can do it means, go to main.tf. The code is going to be very easy now. Just to give like this. First of all, let me remove this one. Resource, I'm going to create AWS instance with label name 1. Sir, count I'm taking from the variable block, sir. Are you seeing variable block for count here? Variable block. What is the name of the variable block here? Here, how many values I have? That means my count will be 3 here. My count will be 3. And then if I want to give the names, go for variable block instance name. Do you have variable block called instance name here? And here also give the name from the count.index. That means based upon the index value, give the names. Web server will get T2 medium. App server will get T2 micro. Database server will get T2 large here. So now here what I'm going to do is, I think it's which region it is Northern Virginia. No? Let me check which region that. No, not this one. For my previous class. For them, which region I use it? AP Southeast one. Okay, that means I need to change this configuration here. But before that, sir, count I am taking from where.instance type. What is the count value here? That means number of servers are going to be here 3. And coming to the instance type. Instance type I am taking from the variable block. Which block? Instance type. What is the first value here? T2 medium. Second value? Third value T2. Coming to the name also, I am taking from variable block. In variable block, what is the first name? Web. Second one. Third one. That means these values will map to each other. These values are going to map. This is the minimalistic code to write this content. Basically, it is very, very easy actually, if you ask me. No need to write this much of code, right? Within the small code, we can create servers with different configuration. So if I go here, now, like if you use for each also, it will work, but it is another method to create. Okay. Give this one. And only one thing you want to change is AMI ID. What I want to change here? Why? Because that I might use. Why? Because this much of times like internet issue means it's not good actually. Even I'm getting. See, I have typed the backspace here, but it is not still replicating. Array, go man. Alright, Terraform apply. So now web server T2 medium, app server T2 large, database server T2 nano. And one more thing, it is AP South. That means all instance type must not be supported. If T2 nano will not support, I'll go for T2 micro like that. But let's check it is going to support or not. See here, if you go and see now, you can get it very clearly. First, you are going to create web server. For web server, which instance type? T2 medium. Next, you are getting T2 micro for which server? App server. Next, you are getting T2 nano for database server. Perfectly, it is mapping or not, sir? It is the minimalistic code to do this activity. So now if you go and see, go for your servers, keep this refresh. First one, web server, T2 medium or not, sir? See the code here, what we have given. Web server, which one? For app server, it is my app server. T2 micro. Final database server, T2. That means it is perfectly matching or not, sir? So it is the way how we can write the code with less number of lines. Basically, it's not a part of your syllabus, but I am telling for your knowledge. Even you can implement this on your real time, guys. So now finally, if I want to delete, what I want to give Terraform, that's it. So it's the end for Terraform session today. I think it's internet issue from your end, Shivam. Why? Because sometimes voice might be due to your internet issue also. I would like to suggest to please check it once. So in Terraform, we have only one concept pending, that is variables, not models, Terraform models. That is I'm going to cover on tomorrow's concept. So till now, it is enough for today. What is your repository name? 1709, right? 08. So 1708. I'm giving the content here only. Take it from here. Okay, and one more thing, my server got disconnected in the middle. So all commands will not work. So history I'm not going to give. Why? Because you will get only this much of history. My server got disconnected, right? But don't worry, concepts I'm gonna give you here. Just practice the concepts. So where we have started today? We started from here. So now any doubts or any queries in today's session? First of all, we started Terraform lifecycle. Then we have started S3 remote backend. Then dynamic block we have seen, and finally we have seen the loops concept and some version constraints. So these are the topics for today's session. Now in today's session, any doubts or any queries from your end? Don't we have any doubts? Sure. Okay then. So I'll tell you something which is very, very important to learn. Basically today or tomorrow, like that is theoretical part, not practical. Sir, basically, whenever we are going for interview, they'll ask some basic questions for you. For example, I'll ask you some questions for you. As a DevOps engineer, what is your main responsibility, sir? As a DevOps engineer, your main role and responsibility is to deploy the application. My question is, what is the meaning of deployment? No. I want the exact answer. What do you mean by the deployment? Kiran, directly we are going to give our credentials, Kiran. That means giving the information only. What is the meaning of deployment? Deployment means it is the process of installing an application to the server actually. But lot of people not able to answer this question. But you remember, deployment means process of installing application to the application server. Coming to the servers, we have web server, we have application server. I'll ask you a question. For example, let me open something. I'll open this one. What I'll open is Amazon. So tell me, currently I'm opening a thing, right? So is this a website or application? Website. Also application. How come both? Tell me any one answer. Website or web application? How many of you say website? Raise your hands, man. How many of you say it is web application? Which one? Both, eh? Good. Fine. I'll tell you one thing. Okay. Let's speak on this way. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between website and web application? Difference between website and web application. This question I asked for n number of people. 95% failed to answer this question. If you don't know what is website and what is web application, how can you deploy the application, man? That is a basic point, right? Basic point or not? Yeah. Okay. Okay. No, website also you can make dynamic, right? If you talk about our Naresh Shetty, continuously for every week we are going to plan new batches. Dynamically it is changing or not? Please. Okay. Okay. Website also we can use, right? In website also you can do transactions. No. Just try to think about it for a couple of minutes. I'll give a couple of minutes of time for you. Huh? Question. What is the difference between website and web application? That is the question. Craziest question, right? You know that one, but you cannot able to answer it. I'll tell it very easily. If we use Apache, that is website, that is going to host the front end part of the application. Simply, if you have only front end code, that is your website, sir. But if you have front end code plus back end code, that is your web application. That is the difference. Nothing more than that. If we have front end code, that is what we can call as website. We can host on Apache server. But if you have front end code plus back end code, that is what you can call as web application. That means you need to install on Tomcat here. If you see Netflix application we deployed, only front end code or not, sir? Have used Java code for it. There I use Apache only. What I use? But in Jenkins pipeline, again I deployed the Java code there for Netflix application. There I have front end code plus back end code. In Ansible, I deployed only front end code. That's why I use Apache. But in Jenkins, I deployed backend code also. Front-end code plus backend code. Java I use there. So then I use Tomcat. Front-end code means website. Backend code means website means only front-end code, sir. Web application means both front-end code plus difference. For website, we need to use Apache. For web application, we need to use Tomcat. Third thing is website cannot interact with users. It will show whatever you want. It will not bring the required output for you. But web application is not like that. And for website, database is optional. If there is no database also, it is fine. But for web application, you need to maintain the database. Here I wrote the differences here. Difference means web application is a program that can run via browser. And definitely we need to have the database. Website means it is a collection of static pages that can be images, videos, or anything. Example for web application is Tomcat, Nginx, JBoss, IIS. But for web servers, HTTPD and Nginx, web application can interact with user. Website can't interact. And we can read and manipulate the website, sorry, web application. But for website, we can manipulate the data. And even functionality is complex for web application, but for website, it is very easy. Why? Because website will have only front-end code, but whereas web application will have both front-end code plus, obviously it is going to be the complex. Then now, sir, basically we are doing deployment as a DevOps there. Why we need to do deployment? First of all, the main principle of deployment is adding new features to the application. Initially, I create Instagram application. I have only messages option and photos option. If I want to include the Reels option, I need to deploy it. So if I want to add new feature, then I want to deploy it, sir. And I can remove the bugs and to enhance the new features and to improve the performance. For example, if you open the Instagram application, it will take 5 seconds to load the UI. I want to minimize that 5 seconds to 4 seconds, 4 to 3. That means I want to improve the performance. And finally, breaking the large application from monolithic to everyone will do deployment, but if I ask what is the purpose of deployment, again nobody will tell you. Why? Because all of them are getting with fake experience. If you work really, you know the meaning why you are doing. But whenever you are going with some fake experience, how come you know, sir? No or not? So what is the purpose of deployment, sir? Adding the features, removing the bugs, enhancing the new features, improving the performance, and break down the monolithic into microservices. So, okay, sir. You said what is the purpose of doing deployment? but I want to know what are the things I want to do for deployment. For every deployment, you need to have infrastructure. Without infrastructure, there is no VPC and server. Without server, how can I deploy my application, sir? No. If I want to do deployment without adding new feature, I cannot able to deployment. If I want new feature means I want new code or not, sir? Second thing, involvement of development, testing, and DevOps team. Development team will write the code, testing team will test the code, DevOps will deploy the code. And definitely for every deployment, we need to create the database. Why? Because if the deployment failed, something might happen for database. Every time it will not happen, but sometime if database got crashed, we need to take the backup. So that's the reason for every new deployment, it is best practice to create the new database. And sometimes we need to get approval from release manager. Again, one more time. If you want to do deployment, what we need to have? Infrastructure setup, new code, developers, testers, and QA team, database we need to create, and approval from release manager. It is optional, not every time. Sir, what are the precautions to take while doing the deployment? Means, first of all, we are going to take the build backup. Build backup means your WAR file and database backup. If application stopped working, we need to roll back or not, sir? How we can roll back if we have old WAR file? Need to isolate each and every environment. Developing, testing, production need to be separated. We need to check. These are on same environment or separate environments. Can able to do? Why? Because if deployment fail, need to roll back or not, sir? If you don't roll back, what will happen? Users will get a lot of confusion. Application is completely going to be failed. Finally, make sure you are deploying on current client and correct environment. What is the dumbest thing I have done all my entire working year is? Basically, like it happened to me. Once they asked me to deploy. We have a client called, Toyota. Toyota is our client actually. They asked me to deploy in developing environment. But eventually at that time, I need to go for some party. Like we have some marriage function there at night. So I need to go to the marriage function. So I was in a hurry actually. I just triggered the pipeline, just logged out. Right? Because I know pipeline is going to trigger correctly. But unfortunately, I selected some wrong parameter there. Instead of selecting production server, instead of selecting testing server, I directly clicked the production server. That means the application is going to deploy in which environment, sir? Very big escalation happened for me. That is the first and last escalation for me in my professional career. Escalation means, what is the meaning of escalation? Getting a big appraisal, very big appraisal. Appraisal means when you do some mistakes, right? They are going to call you into the meeting and they are going to, first of all, they will tell it very smoothly. Second time, they will get the 90 rods for you. Man, really, you don't know like how the escalation calls is going to happen. That is the worst part of professional career, if you ask me. And I hope you will never face any kind of escalations on your future. Why? Because escalation means like you don't know how the questions are going to be. Answer to this question sometimes. I think it might happen for every working professional. Right? Ever happened for you? Everyone will definitely face the escalation at least once in their lifetime. So even I have faced it. That is a very big escalation for me. So from then I never made this kind of mistake. Exactly. If you don't know something, just don't put your fingers into it. Exactly. And one more thing, it's a good point actually to add on. If you don't know something, but your manager asks you to do, tell them I'm not able to do it. Why? Because if you take some task, daily they are going to ask you into the stand-up call. Stand-up call means at the end of the day, you need to attend the calls actually. Scrum calls we can call, stand-up calls we can call. Like lot of names will be there. They are going to ask you, is your work done today? You will say day one, no. Day two also I'm working on it. Day three also I'm working on it. They will see for first 1 week, but after 1 week, they will ask you one straightforward question. What is the question, What you are spending your whole day? This is the straightforward question they will ask. You don't know it, but still you are trying. They are not going to see your efforts. Companies will want only results. They will never care about your efforts. If you don't know something, tell them, I don't know. Even if they ask you to do it, I request some time. I cannot able to do it immediately, but allow me some time. I'll keep my work progress on. But if your manager asks you, if you want to get some good impression, you will be blocked there. So these kind of things you need to consider. So now is it clear, sir? What is the difference between website and web application? Is it clear? Now tell me what is the difference? It is only front-end code. Website, it is back-end code. Web application. So difference means website can interact with user. Web application will not. Web application have database. Website is optional. Of course, we can put, but it is optional. So it is enough for today. In tomorrow concept, I'm going to tell you the deployment strategies. But now